everyone, Joe Chaikin from Align Fitness, and thank you for joining me today. We are going to put you through 3 exercises used by the pros that really help to improve clubhead speed. The beauty about the 3 that we're going to show you today is you don't need a lot of equipment. So big studios, big gyms, lots of fancy equipment, you'll see those things on Instagram all the time, but it's the simple stuff that you can do that really is going to matter. Things that you can do at home or at your own gym. So all you're going to need today is either a dumbbell or a weight plate between 5 and 10 pounds and one medium to high level tension resistance band with a handle on it. With those tools, we're going to give you exercises that'll help you improve the amount of force and rotational force, to be more specific, that you can create with your top half, your torso, while still keeping your bottom half stable. And it's that concept of separation and creating power while you're separating that really improves your club head speed. So these are great drills, really transferable to the golf swing. Give them a try, and I'm going to ask you for 2 things if you do it. All right, so I have Gianna here to help me out with the exercises that we're going to show you today. Exercise number 1 is going to be a golf posture, explosive rotational row, with separation. It's a long name, but here's how this guy works out. So Gianna's gonna go ahead and grip this with her right hand. And if you notice, we have just a regular old band hooked up low. It's just tied into itself. There's nothing fancy about this at all. And she's gonna set up in a golf posture, but the arm that's holding the band, that's gonna go back. So she's gonna ultimately be in a stagger stance. We'll start slow with this and then we'll build some tempo as we go. So why don't you give me a regular row for a second? Don't rotate anything. So that's what our regular row would look like as a row. You can go ahead and turn that out. What we want to do here is quite different than that. It's the opposite of that. We want to be a statue from the hips down. So there's no movement whatsoever from her hips down to her feet, but we want to create rotation through the middle part of her spine, and we're going to assist that with the free arm. So go slow for a couple, but as you pull this, why don't you punch that left arm down? Sure. You got it. So what we're trying to do basically is keep like these 2 arms like in line with one another, so on the same plane. You can see she's maintaining her golf posture position. Now she's looking pretty good here. We have a nice little turn of the torso, so maybe show them a little bit more shirt. There we go. Now here's the real challenge, and you're gonna find the same challenge. As she picks up speed, it's gonna be really hard not to rotate the hips open to the right. So when you're good, give me double speed. Go for it. 1, 2, let's go 10. 3, 4, 5, great job. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. So we can put that down. So what'll happen there ultimately is you will find that as you increase speed, you're less and less able to maintain control of your pelvis. But that's absolutely critical because in our golf swing, the better we separate, the further the ball's gonna go. So without good separation on this exercise, where we're truly stabilizing the hips, you're kind of wasting your time. So start slow. Don't start with a lot of tension. But over time, increase both of those things until this is a really challenging exercise. I love this for slightly higher reps. I usually have people go for sets of somewhere between 10 to 15. Obviously, we did it today, but you would do both sides on this. All right, exercise number 2. It's in the same family, but now it's a punch instead of a pull. So in this scenario, we're gonna do a rotational punch, an explosive rotational punch with separation. So once again, we want our lower half to be a statue, just like the previous exercise. We want to have thoracic rotation, but this time instead of pulling, we're actually going to be punching against the tension of the band. So here's how this guy works. So I'm going to have you grip with your left and get it tight to like your mid-chest area. We're going to go into a stagger stance just like we did with the previous one, but actually flip those legs around. So it's always the working arm is the back leg, whether it's on the row or the punch. Now let's do a couple of slow ones. So as she pulls this right arm back, she's gonna punch directly across with this 90 degrees, right about there. And if you notice, she does a good job, that, you can look right where you were for a second. We wanna get this shoulder pretty much under her chin, so it's something like the rotation in a golf swing would look like, rather than doing it up here and tall. So why don't you go slow at first. Go ahead. This is going to require a big glute squeeze again. We don't want to let the hips rotate, but at the same time, we don't want to slide or sway as we're doing this. Looking pretty good. Now start to build some tempo for it. So really a big key for me is if you rip that free arm back as you punch, you'll generate so much more power. Go a little fast. Let's go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. All good. So look, it's the same principle as last time. Start slow, start with not a whole lot of tension, kind of feel it out and get it down first. Because when things are slower, they're much easier to control. As you get comfortable with it, increase your tension and increase your speed. But again, remember the keys. We want to have the stability through our bottom half. When we turn, we want to do what we can to get this shoulder directly underneath our chin. That way, again, we're improving your ability to separate and your ability to separate with some speed, which should transfer to your golf swing and you hitting a longer ball. All right, we're gonna give you one more exercise. Now, this is the opposite of these last two. First two are explosive and fast. This is the antithesis. This is as slow as it gets, but really focusing on your position and your ability to separate. So in this exercise, we are gonna basically go into a staggered stance. We're gonna call this a rotational push or a rotational press. Now, in our case, we have a 5-pound plate, dumbbell, kettlebell, whatever's fine. I've really never had a need to have anyone go over 10 pounds on this before. So I would say 5, 8, 10 pounds, somewhere in there would be really appropriate for it. So in our rotational punch, we were really making sure that our shoulder ended up directly underneath our chin. It's the same thing here, but now it's just slow. So if you don't mind, you're gonna grip by the outsides. If you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, I recommend the same kind of a hold. We're gonna go into a stagger stance yet again. So the right leg will go forward and the left leg will go back, and we're gonna get into something that resembles our golf posture, like right around there is good. So you start off with the weight at the chest. You're gonna have to pinch your glutes to create stability in the bottom half, because again, that's really key for us. So from here, we want to go ahead and rotate in the direction of that forward knee. Pause just for a second. We're going to keep our gaze in the same place the entire way. From here, she did a great job of keeping the lower half stable. She didn't shift laterally or rotate. Now we're just going to simply push that plate as far away as we can. I like to hold this for a 2 count. 1 1,000, 2 1,000. Return to your chest. Return your rotation back to the start. Let's show them a couple more if you don't mind.
Sure.
So right back to that same position. Slow control, go ahead and rotate right, keep the head down, gaze in the same spot, and push. And again, look at that chin and shoulder alignment. That is absolutely perfect. The ideal scenario is we get full extension. If the weight's a little heavy, you might not be able to get that, so that's an indicator. It might be appropriate for you to go down. And the surprising thing on this is, it's not gonna be the thing that you think in terms of what's gonna burn. What were you feeling there?
My back.
Your back?
How was I not supposed to say that? What was I supposed to say? I felt it like in my upper back.
Usually.
Well, I do feel it there too, but I just take a moment.
Yeah, usually it's like the
All right, well, how about we I'll just say it now. And
all right, so why don't you go right, fuck, we're not gonna know exactly where I put you on the spot, that's my bad.
That's fine.
Okay, so let me just, let's lie, okay?
Sure.
All right, so where did you feel that mostly?
My glute.
Good. So, what's happening there is, we have all these extra parts that are moving around, but this is a great hip stability exercise and a great separation exercise. The thing that's stopping your hips from shifting to the side when you rotate, it's your glutes. So by the end of this, you have a really big burn in your glutes. That's a good thing. And you might feel some upper back, which she also felt, or maybe some abdominals or some obliques, all good. But the glutes are really what we're trying to attack in this one. All right, there it is. So thanks so much for hanging with us today. We really hope these 3 exercises were easy enough for you to implement and start doing on your own, but also something you do consistently enough so that in the upcoming season, you'll see some improvements to your clubhead speed. Next video, which we should post in the next couple weeks, is gonna focus on the exact opposite. How do you turn and create rotational force with your bottom half without turning your top half? And that'll help create even more clubhead speed. So, tune in. Again, throw us a like if you don't mind. Hope to see you soon.